are you fighting with now? When you quarrel with your acquaintance, you may try to apologize to him first because you are too stressed and feel uncomfortable about this. Such a way avoids the spread of conflicts between the two, but does not lead to true reconciliation. Humans live with a lot of patience to avoid conflict and spend a great deal of energy to keep conflict from escalating. In situations where conflicts grows and escalates, people tend to choose to avoid or turn away from those situations rather than confronting them head-on. In order to resolve conflict, each person spends an ample amount of energy putting the people around him on his side. People do not stop blaming their opponents to win fights. In order to gain an advantage in battle, people tend to wield sharp swords of justice at their foes, while pointing blunt swords at their allies. This is how the human race has resolved problems and conflicts so far, in order to win fights or competitions. However, if you want to solve problems between you and your opponents, first stop blaming each other. If you want to resolve conflicts between the two, first understand and acknowledge the other person's mind. If you want reconciliation between the two, you must appreciate the value of the other party first. To stop blaming each other, we need to acknowledge that we are essential to each other. True reconciliation and forgiveness between each other are possible only when we go through the process of acknowledging that we are precious beings to each other. Reconciliation without a genuine shift in your consciousness toward the other person does not last long. Without shifting your thoughts about the other party fundamentally, simple reconciliation made superficially based on realistic needs could not last long. Only when we can acknowledge each other's worth and respect each other as we are, or when we can recognize how precious each other is, we will be able to stop blaming each other. Where there are people who have different views and desires from each other, misunderstandings can occur easily between each other, and these deepen and expand into accusations, quarrels, or conflicts. People cannot resolve conflicts that have occurred between each other unless each of them throws away his or her own pride. People cannot achieve true reconciliation unless each of them gives up his or her own pride. People cannot forgive each other unless they respect each other's pride. The currently ongoing conflict cannot be resolved with the current problem-solving method or with the current state of consciousness. The currently progressing conflict can be resolved through a shift in consciousness or thoughts, or through a new consciousness. A new consciousness is created by necessity. A new consciousness is born in a desperate situation. A new consciousness is born from the most common sense thoughts. A new consciousness is born through a great paradigm shift in an effort to suppress limitations. A new consciousness is not to be discovered, but to be created. A new consciousness originates from the heaven. The origin of a new consciousness is the consciousness of the Creator. A new consciousness begins from the consciousness of the Creator, which is formed through evolution all the time. A consciousness that does not belong to the consciousness of the Creator cannot be embodied by any life form, including human beings. You may have experienced a situation where you started fighting with someone and you ended up fighting yourself, forgetting why you are fighting and who you are fighting with. Also, you may sometimes have found yourself fighting for the sake of fighting. In all the spirit souls of people living on earth, the contradiction that causes misunderstandings and conflicts between people is installed like the scarlet letter. In all the spirit souls of people living on earth, contradictions that cause consciousness to be dissociated and twisted are installed like the scarlet letter, so that people tend to take each other's words in a self-centered way or misunderstand them, rather than listening to each other's words as they are. As a result, human history has become a bloody history of wars, and the planet Earth has become a planet where contradictions stemming from the two extreme energies of light and darkness are fiercely unfolded. Therefore, the planet Earth has become a fierce battlefield between good and evil, and has had to become a planet of darkness that lacks love. In this way, this planet has played the role of a prison planet chosen to dissolve the cosmic karmas and cosmic contradictions. As such, all the spirit souls living on the earth are fighting with each other without knowing why they are fighting, due to the structural contradictions engraved in them like the scarlet letter. In addition, all the spirit souls living on earth have to emit tremendous amounts of rage and resentment towards each other for no reason. Earth is a planet set to recapitulate the pain of the universe in the material world. Earth is a planet designed to address and resolve the contradictions of the universe. Earth is a planet operated to resolve the contradictions of the heaven. All spirit souls living on the planet Earth were said to lack the consciousness of coexistence and harmony in order to dissolve their own cosmic karmas when they were registered for immigration to these planets. Now that the time has come, the negative energies that have made people fight with each other without knowing the reason for fighting will be retrieved by the heaven that has come down to the earth. The energies causing misunderstandings and conflicts which have been planted in the human race in order to dissolve cosmic karmas will be retrieved by the new heaven that has come down to the earth. Now that the time is ripe, the energies of coexistence that human beings have lacked will be supplied to the planet Earth by the heaven that has come down to the earth. The consciousness of human beings who are fighting with each other without knowing why they are fighting will be awakened by experiencing strong distrust and fierce conflicts between each other. The consciousness of human beings who are fighting without knowing who they are fighting with will be awakened by going through extreme social turmoil and enormous natural disasters. Human beings who do not stop fighting for the sake of fighting will meet the heaven that has come down to the earth at the level of consciousness of each individual at the scene of a fierce fighting, and their consciousness will be awakened by experiencing the heaven. In the harsh reality where people cannot see an inch ahead, the consciousness of humanity will be awakened, just as flowers bloom on trees that have endured severe winter storms and heavy snow in the middle of winter. September 20th in 2021, Udeka wrote,